Hello and welcome back to actual play Agon. The heroes are on the island of Fenios, and they have just saved Nasia and her people from the destruction at the hands of the Golden Boar. The boar has been trapped in a temple that has collapsed down around it, and the party is split. Half of them have retreated to Nasia's camp to find out where this the princess, as she might be called, stands, and half of them are at the gates of Anosteni, trying to get audience with Capra, who has taken hold of it. Let's. I think I'm going to start actually. We'll start where the action left off, because I think, Alexei, you had sort of gotten ready to have discourse with these guards who are holding their spears and their shields, and they're standing up straight and they're wearing their masks, and it's hard to tell they're behind those masks. It's hard to tell whether they are quaking in fear or whether they're filled with resolve. It sounds to me that you wish to engage in a contest of arts and oration with them to convince them that heroes such as yourselves should be given audience with Capra.
Yeah, well, they've said that Capra is herself a hero who bested and took control of this boar, and we have also bested and taken control of the boar. So it feels like we have that in common.
Feels right to me. Awesome. Let's roll for these guards. Let's roll this arts and oration contest with these guards. They are strife player. Pull you up. Let's pull this up so everyone can see. Okay, they don't have all a D10 name or epithet. And they are not epic or perilous. Okay, there we go. Arts oration. Holy moly. Well, sometimes guards roll sixes. Awesome. So this was the question of how much of a fight they put up. One of the guards takes off his helmet, and you can see that there's a horrible scar on his face that looks like a tusk barely didn't behead him. And he said, I've lost more kin than I can count, facing that boar year after year. Capra has done more than defeat it. She has mastered it. You've merely slowed it down. And he stands on his haunches. So who among you will face the Capra's guards? And it sounds like I think Dimitri is kind of stuck in this because she started it, but
I'm keen-speared Demetria, daughter of Cleon, the general of Dipolon, and I will engage in oration with these guards.
Awesome. And Aklios, will you also compete, or just to throw this out there, would you like to support Demetria?
That's what I was thinking.
Very cool.
Aklios, through my quiet resolve and spirit, back up my captain in this parley.
Fantastic. So first things first, Aklios, you're going to gain one glory for aiding your captain. You're going to take one bond with Demetria right off the bat. And you're going to pass, I think I said name die before, I apologize. You're going to pass your domain die. You're going to pass your arts and oration die. So what size is your arts and oration die?
That is D6.
Okay, cool. So when you, Alexei, when you go to roll and it says advantages or other bonus dice, you're going to add in a D6 there. I'm going to give you one more advantage die because you did just defeat this boar, like you just said. It's not for nothing that you didn't just trap it. Now, for him, there's an important distinction here, which is that it's still a murdering, rampaging thing, and he's seen it cause a lot of harm. So you're not quite at the level of his master yet, but it's not. He can't ignore the fact that you just did the thing you said you did. So let's call that a D8 advantage die that you can add in there. So when you're adding those advantage dice, it's a little tricky. You're going to go I think it has the format for you to roll. It'll show like whether it's like plus or comma. I forget what the.
Got it.
But you got to follow that format to add in all those dice.
So let me go through. Target number is 11.
Yes.
Because these guards rolled really well.
Yeah, because they got a 6. They got as high as they possibly could.
My epithet is keen speared. My spear was, the weapon with which I fought the beast. I think I have it, ready to hand here. Yeah. All right. I'm not adding another domain though. I think this is.
What's your strong domain?
Arts and Oration is my strong domain.
Okay,
so
yeah, then that makes sense. I would say you could add Blood and Valor if it was your strong domain because, you did just defeat it, etc. But I think that you're good.
All right, and the other dice I have is one from a support and one from the advantage, a D6 and a D8. So I'm adding those in.
All right. If you want to add in Divine Favor to call gods, you can. But
that's an interesting.
I just say because I rolled. Yeah, like I said, it's as tough as these guards could have been.
You know what? I'll add in a little Divine Favor from Hera.
Okay.
Just a little cunning here, as noting the sort of hero worship with which the guards seem to regard their queen. I'll just throw in a little flattery of the queen, saying I would be honored to meet a fellow mighty warrior who first bested this mythical creature, right?
Nice. I think not only does that aid you mechanically, right? Like that Hera's cunning, like you see a little glint in his eye as though Hera's maybe whispered into his ear, like these are not the droids you're looking for. Like you got a little Jedi mind trick going on, but also it changes the tenor of the contest because if he refuses you, it will not be under the guise of like, you're gonna try and unseat our queen and we're gonna attack you right now, right? He might still refuse you at the gates, but he won't. I don't think violence is on the table at the moment because of that. I think that like showing deference to her really sort of changes that possible outcome. So, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, dang.
I did it.
Did it. Nice. So take 11 glory and tell me how you enter the halls of Anosteni. What is that you do?
Yeah. I think there's this back and forth with us and the guard, and he's got this scar and like is narrowing his eyes, and keen-speared Demetria is putting forward this heartfelt interest in the Queen Capra, and then we cut to us walking through these marbled halls, I see. A baby's going to make a quick cameo here.
Hello, baby. Baby cameo.
And I think the other detail is by the time we're walking in, to the throne room or whatever vista we're seeing here, I've taken my cape and like made a little like sling for my arm, so I definitely don't look like I'm an invader or anything, since I'm like with the like obvious like wound from fighting the boar, but still head held high, ready to like meet hero to hero.
And I think I sort of missed over a procedural part, but Donna, did you want to add? I want to make sure you had the opportunity to add in any details there of your support that you were giving to Alexi in this. I think you said you were sort of standing there serenely, but I didn't know if you wanted to add it in your
voice. So I think it's almost like the look that I'm giving this nameless guard is like, you better not disrespect my captain. Like earlier you claimed that your lord was worthier than her, but I will beg to differ at the drop of a hat.
Nice.
So definitely,
I think that also like puts you two on the same level. You're like, cool, this is my boss, and he's gonna go see your boss, and I'm gonna super kill you if you don't let that happen, right? Or at least does that sound
until
right?
I tell him my name, he can believe that all he wants.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. So you come into the hall, and Demetria and Akleos, you see several other people that look like they're nursing various wounds. It does not look like the Capra, the queen, has like been ruling very long. it does look like she took it by force. And it also looks like a lot of these people are, hunters turned guards that have various injuries themselves. So you're not alone with that, the arm and the sling. And you get taken up, and there's this sort of marble throne, right? This throne room, and over the throne has been like in a very, like, the quickest kind of redecorating that one could do has been thrown this giant pelt. There's this giant, like, wolf pelt thrown over. It doesn't fit perfectly. It's not been made. This is like what was done in the short term. And there's two seats that are next to the throne, and both of them have been both of those seats have been dragged away, and you can see the imprints on the ground, where they have been, these heavy marble seats. Like, obviously, like, 6 people had to all grab hold of to drag these things off. But like, there used to be 3 people that would sit up there, and now it's clearly just one. And it's Capra, the usurper, and she, kind of has she's giving you that appraising look, and you have this, like, long walk to get to her, right? So she has plenty of time to take you in. And she says, my guards tell me great heroes are at the gate. Please introduce yourselves. Actually, I don't even think that. She knows you. She's an important character. She says, she says, Demetria, daughter of Cleon and Acleos, son of Heracles, welcome to Fenios. And I think we're gonna cut right. It's like she sort of welcomed you in. Notably, she is wearing a very ornate golden mask that matches that of the boar. Like, all her guards have like a replica. It's clear that she has a mask that is ancient, like the one of the boar. So yeah, there's a little menace in those words when she says welcome. Doesn't seem it's super welcoming, but Aaron and Christoph, let's cut to you following Nastia to the camp. I think when you make it, you see that is there anything you want to do, like, along the way on the walk there, or do we want to open at the camp itself?
I think we can open, like, even in the camp if there's nothing great to introduce. Yeah, like, in conversation even.
Yeah. So let me give you a few details about the camp, and you can bring those in. To your narration, or what I should say. So the camp looks like it was quickly assembled. It's surrounded by low palisades. They would probably fend off. They are defensible, but they are no fortress walls. And there's tents there. There is one. Most of the tents are fairly open. You could easily. The doors, the flaps are open. You can see people inside. There's some people cooking. There's some people tending. There's some people doing various chores. There are a few, like, looted items, a few things that look like they were pulled from the throne room before they fled. A few memorabilia. It's not really substantive wealth, but it's more symbolic of some things there. And there's one tent, and Nastia, who welcomed, she doesn't know that you're her ally yet. It seems like it's unclear on this island who's in control and who deserves to be in control. So she's not sure whether you're going to side. She appreciates that you saved her, but she's not sure that you're going to side with her. But Nastia is obviously meeting with people and happy to meet with you, these great heroes. And there's one more tent that is closed, and you can see from the way the light casts through it, the silhouette on the wall, that there is a person inside, right? Like, there's someone inside that tent, and you could easily get in, but the flap to it is closed, and it's sort of in a place of importance. It's at the head. So what do you want to? I think breaking in right in the middle of the conversation is fantastic. It's perfect.
I would imagine that you would have the scene of the fire kind of going, and they're all cooking and making good, and Fido would just come and, like, sit down and start talking to everybody, like they all should know who she is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and right, like, are you bringing any nourishment to share with them? Are you? I mean, not like we kind of described earlier. There's not a lot of great things on the ships, but you did have those pies. Is there anything that Alfido shares, or is she nourishing them with her stories?
I think, yeah, she probably has the remainder of the pies.
Nice.
As she did such a great job baking. There was leftovers even.
Yeah,
and she passes them out to the children first.
Very cool. They're greedily consumed. Aaron, Soteria, is Soteria joining her in this sort of rousing of the people, or are you off to
during this what seems to be a social exchange, I think this Soteria is going to take more of a support role, as she is a woman of few words.
Okay, great. So we'll spotlight you as you like. But I think Nasia is very Nasia is like, Nasia's not duplicitous. She has no reason to hide from you. She tells you that Capra took her mother's throne. And I think some of this comes from the people as well, but she's happy to speak with you. And she says that Capra took her mother's throne. And she kind of looks back at the tent when she says that, kind of upset. And then she looks back in and locks eyes with you and says, "I would take Anosteni, but the soldiers that I have are no match for the Golden Boar and its high walls." And she's sort of looking at you appraisingly, like it would seem obvious that she would just like want your help, but she seems reluctant to ask for it, and she's reluctant to trust you for some reason.
I think such conversations with Afido always happen over chores. Like she's always doing something. Like you have a conversation, she's like doing something. You're like, you just showed up. How do you even know what to do or have something to do?
Does she know how to mend wounds? Because there's definitely that person who got gored that's like gonna die if someone isn't like giving them ministrations. Would that be a thing?
Yeah, I think something she would do, and it would be the kind of the very large and tough mother kind of love, like the, "Oh yes, your shoulder's out, crack," no asking. It's just like, I'm flipping you around like a rag doll and making you better, whether you like it or not, kind of tough love.
Yeah. Her baked like a loaf skin, it's like tough and leathery, and I think she doesn't have delicate hands. She has rough ones, but she can still aid people. And there's plenty of people that are hurt in various ways. So so I think
and she like yells she kind of like orders people to do things. Like you have a feeling that she just always thinks that she knows she's a demigod, and it's been something that's happened over her entire life. So she just tells people to do things and they listen, and that's just something part of her life. She doesn't really think about.
I think you're absolutely right. They 100% just fall sort of in line. Like every once in a while, maybe they look to Nasia to like confirm, but it's clear that you're helping them. So none of them are like, nobody's crossing their arms and huffing at you, right? As the guards did to Demetria, right?
Yeah. So you see her like say things like, no, cross hit. She changes the knots on some of the wounds, and she's like, change this man's wounds, and just gives him to somebody who's like, "Oh, okay, I'm not okay. I guess I'll do that," kind of thing, because they're not actually doing that. They're just lazing about. She doesn't let people be lazy. And I think that comes to a brooch when she tells her the whole story. Nasia fills her out and everything, and goes, "So I should speak to the queen," and just walks into the tent.
It's like the worst kind of betrayal when you say that. Like you feel that you have like severed some sort of like connection with Nasia, and she is just like, "Of course you would," and like does not stop you, does not protest, but there's just this definite like, yeah, of course you, the god, would want to speak to the queen, and she stays mending the wounded.
I think she gets to the door and goes, "Nasia, let's go," and just walks in. Like she expects you to follow. She expects Nasia to follow her.
She's not used to being ordered around, but you're important enough. What is Soteria doing? I think Nasia is going to follow your lead. If Soteria is staying out here, if you're both going in there, I think she would probably be like, okay, the big damn heroes are here. I guess we're going to go meet with the queen.
So Tyria is absolutely going in there too.
Okay, yes. Cool. So I think she sees both of you doing that, and she's just like, so you come in. There's no, like, it's a tent. There's no locks or anything like that, right? It was closed, but there was, like, you throw open the flap, and you see Queen Isadora. She looks very much the part of the statue that you saw. She's clearly older than she was then, but she is, does not look enfeebled in any way. She's writing in a journal. She's writing her memoirs, and she seems to be referencing some old pages as well, like as though she's trying to compile something of importance. And she looks up and she says, "The heroes have arrived. Please make yourself comfortable."
And you write like it was all over. And she just kind of stands there, like 1 foot up on top of like her chest that's at the foot of her bed, and with her arms crossed in front of her. Deeds are yet to be done.
I believe my time is over. One should not overreach. One should realize when they have served their people as best they can, and the best thing they could do is to pass the torch to another. Perhaps the zenith of your tale is yet to arrive. But for me, my story wanes. And you can just tell, like, Nasia is like so upset. Like, she's just listening to her mother, and she's just like, her face, she's not growling, but like she's heard this all before, and she can't stand it, and she's really pissed that her mother is being this defeatist, but she's not saying anything to her.
And I think Alfida would respond for sure. Sorry if I'm stepping on you at all, Aaron, but
no, go ahead.
Just like, you don't listen to your daughter. You don't listen to me. You would be one who would take out the bread and eat goo for supper. You are not yet done. There is something to be done here. This land is not at peace. A boar rages through the city, destroying temples even. Your own statue was almost destroyed. And perhaps I should have torn it down myself now that I see you here.
When my last effigy is destroyed, perhaps then peace can be found. There will no longer be a force to fight, and Capra will lead the people. She loves them just as I did. She is not a fiend from far away. She was my second in command for many years. And we flash back really quick to Capra, and you see like that seat, like that's been pulled off, which is where she used to sit before she took the throne. Cut back here. Would you like to engage in a contest with her to try and change her mind? She seems very set that this is. She said you're calling her a coward, but she says her path is the way of wisdom, not cowardice. You want to change her in her mind?
Of course.
Yeah. These are resolve and spirit contest. It's way less about fancy words, and it's way more about whether you can reach that emotional beat that resonates with her. Let's do that. Let's roll the thing. Why can't I find the thing? There we go.
I'm looking whether it should be conviction or authority.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Those make sense. All right. Okay. She is. Let me pull up. Why I have a bunch of screens. I have no idea why I'm tormenting myself by putting everything on one place. She is Isadora the Exiled Queen. That's a D8. She is adamant about staying here. There's a D8. She is shrewd and protective of Nasia. I think protective of Nasia doesn't come into play. Well, it sort of does, but you're not actually threatening her directly. But I'm bringing in shrewd because she's used to people calling her a coward just because she's not doing what they wanted to do. All right, so this is resolve and spirit. I got a 13, my friend. She may be hard to move. Oh, by the way, whenever I play Agon, I roll max on all my dice. I'm sorry. So I was rolling D8 plus 5, and I rolled an 8.
I've seen you roll on Roll20 before. It's not an uncommon thing.
I'm a cheater. So yeah, this looks very challenging. If you had befriended Nasia earlier, she would have helped you now. But right now, she's watching to see how this all plays out. You may earn her favor in this action.
Well, I'm defending her here, so I was hoping to get her aid, but...
Let's see. You did defend her against the boar. She really disliked when you sort of dismissed her. She was like, yeah, let's talk, let's plan. And you're like, I'm going to go talk to the queen. And her stance is the queen's use. My mother is...
I was trying to say it as we should go talk to the queen. That's why I expect her to come with me.
Yeah, okay.
But that's fine. That's fine. She took it the wrong way. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think she took it the wrong way. I think she took it as her being left out, or left out of the decision. She hasn't said anything yet.
Okay. Sucks for us.
Yeah.
Does it make mechanical sense for me to back you up, for me to assist you in this?
Unless you wish to help, that's fine.
Yeah, both of you can... Yeah. I mean, the target number being high enough, it absolutely, it absolutely befits both of you to give it a shot. You know, throw more dice at it. But yeah, I think either one makes total sense in the fiction. For you to step up, or you get to back your friend. So I will ask, who among you will try to restore Isadora's conviction and convince her to take back her throne?
I, fire-bellied Ophido the baker, daughter of Persephone, with the conviction of Demeter, her daughter or mother, will change this woman's mind and drive conviction into her heart.
Nice.
And I, graceful Soteria, will join Alfito in trying to convince the queen to reconsider.
Very cool. All right, we are resolve in spirit, yeah, I think the way we can adjudicate this is, I think you would have gotten a bigger advantage die from Nasia had you sort of like told her you had her back earlier. But I think in this moment, like up until this very moment, she was just like, yep, you're gonna go talk to the queen, and the queen's gonna say never mind, and you're gonna say, all right, queen, we'll do whatever you say, because that's what she's heard from literally everybody else. And in this moment, you're like, no, don't do that. And she's like, oh, really? And I think,
listen to your daughter, as I just said.
I think let's say a D8 advantage die. I think it would have been maybe a 10 if you had her friendship, if you had earned her trust. She's still untrusting of you. She feels betrayed, and she doesn't know whether you're going to betray her as well. But yeah, let's say a D8 advantage die, and either one of you can take that. I'm happy for you to.
Why don't you go ahead and take that, Alfito?
So you actually put in 1d8?
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. And you can use bond dice too, eh?
Yeah. You can call on a bond from.
When you get a bond, is it a d6?
Yes, it's the name die. So everyone's name die.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What size name dice do gods have when you?
That's what I was trying to ask.
Oh, yes, yeah. So let me rephrase. It is not D6. It is the size of the name die of the god. Gods have D12 name dice.
Oh, interesting.
All right.
Interesting.
I mean, hence being a demigod, it's got some perks.
Maybe I should use that instead of using my honored divine favor.
You can use both. You know, heroes can get something like the highest I can possibly roll is like a 17, like a D12 plus 5, 18, I guess, because strife can go up. But you can get something like a 28 if you have multiple God Dice and Divine Favor. So I have a pretty high starting point, but you could totally blow me out of the water if you throw everything at it. Just resource management. How much favor do you have?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look at. I have like what, 4 left? Sorry. I think I will use my my bond with Demeter instead of my Divine Favor because it's a bigger die. Oh, we failed.
Man.
I got the same as you, even though I rolled a fucking D12 in there.
That D12 did not help you. I think you got a 2.
And I rolled a 0 on my D4. Oh,
that's because you
didn't
spend a Divine Favor. Yeah. So it rolls 0 D4. Gets 0.
Yeah, makes sense.
All of this serves well. You tell me how you suffer. You each gain 1 glory for the attempt, but I will tell you right now that the effect that this has is to just bring her more shame. That now you have called her out in front of her daughter, and the rift between her and her daughter is never going to heal. Like she and her daughter, maybe it could have been they could have found something, but Nasia storms out, and she is not going to like she was maybe gonna make up with her mom in the past, and now seeing her mom, even with this not being moved, Nasia and Isadora will never speak. So that is the horrible thing that the family's divided. But you just tell me how you individually make this great effort and cannot move her. You both rolled the same, so either order you want.
What do you think? Do you want to go first, Aaron? Or do you want me to go first?
I'd rather you go first. Yeah.
So I think Afido has her arms out, like she's like trying to like hearten the person. She's like calling on their bond with Demeter to bring her conviction. And she's like, if that was so, you would be just sitting in the palace alongside your new queen. But you are here in a camp far away with your people have run away, exiled. That does not seem like you are fine with it.
Nice.
And he looks at her and gets nothing.
Yeah. She looks at you and says, some mistakes cannot be undone. And clearly she's filled with regret. Oh, if only she could tell you what she did. Maybe in the halls of Anosteni we'll find out. Aaron, how does Soteria attempt to move her but fail?
Soteria is no good at this.
Yeah.
Soteria is known for a strength of spirit, but a strength of resolve, but cannot find any words to move the queen, and feels the great weight of shame as she sees Nasia storm out. That's all.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I think we see like there's like a gust of wind as she flips open the flap. And then we hear the same, we use the same folio, the same gust of wind effect as the windows open in the halls of Anosteni, and a swift wind passes over you as Akleos and Demetria face the new queen. And she looks at you, with that kind of like smug contempt of like, I've got all the cards. What are you heroes doing here for? The kind of contempt you're supposed to slap off her face, but
how much of her expression can we see?
I think it's just her eyes, right? But
is the mouth visible? Like just her, so much contempt in the eyes. I like it.
It's the eyes. Yeah, it almost seems as if the mask moves, although you know it doesn't, right? Like it's almost as if the way the shadows cast on the mask that you see like this sort of haughty smile in it, though clearly it's a piece of bronze and not something that moves. Yeah. What do you she's kind of she pauses for a beat, right? She's like, welcome to my court. Do you come here to pledge your allegiance to me and make make Fenios the greatest island that ever was, with heroes at my side? Perhaps I could restore 2 chairs to be by my side. And she sort of gestures to the chairs that have been dragged away. Perhaps I removed these too soon. And she's offering for you to serve her as her servants and advisors, because you're great heroes. She'd give you that spot. You wouldn't have to fill out an application.
What do you think about this, Alfito?
We're with we're with the usurper now. Yes.
So sorry.
Yeah.
No worries. Yeah. I'll say you're very generous. We came, in fact, to satisfy some of our curiosity. It seems some of your people of this island are devoted to you. The guards we met at your gate think of you as a great deliverer, but there are those that stand against you that you seemed willing to release this boar against. Are they not your people as well? What state is this island truly in, Queen?
I don't think she quite answered. I want to answer your question, but I think she's going to do it in a story. You tell me if there's any part of your question she doesn't answer, but she says, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please. She says, great heroes, please. And she whistles some like dog whistle sound. And you feel a little bit of a rumble, and some people come out with these great tapestries, and they roll out these tapestries, and they show you, it's hundreds of years, right, of these stories of the golden boar and the hunts for Artemis, and the hunts for Artemis, and the boar always prevailing, right? No one has ever captured the boar. And she says, every year for as long as anyone on Fenios can remember, we have gone once a year to hunt the great golden boar for Artemis's glory. And every year, many of my fellow hunters came back wounded or perished in the fight. For what? For nothing. For the edification of Artemis, for the queen's amusement. She says, I found another way. It was said, it has been said that whoever defeats the golden boar will control the throne. And I found another way. I have mastered the boar. And she sort of gestures at this mask that clearly controls the boar. It's very clear that wearing this, she controls it. And she says, I have found another way. And with that, I have rightfully taken the throne. Some people do not agree with me. Some people wish to fight me, such as the queen's daughter. And what can I do but defend what is mine? And there's a little bit there also of the whole thing was stupid in the first place. Why would we facing this boar and dying at its hands? Yeah, she feels pretty vindicated, but also super willing to murder people, including the old queen and her daughter, to have this control. And she says, do you not see that I serve a noble cause to bring peace to the people? And once the dissenters have given up or perished, we will have peace here, and no one will have to die again facing this horrible beast. It will instead remain at my side. And she sort of gestures to where that chair was, right?
As if the boar is going to just be sitting there next to her.
Well, it would. I mean, the special effects crew were really glad that you trapped in the temple, so they didn't have to draw it in. You can imagine the boar being there.
Yeah, I look over at Aklios, to get a sense of my companion's perspective on this. It sounds like we've waded into a more complicated political situation than we expected.
So I think Demetria knows Aklios, and she can tell by the way his lip curls when she describes how awesome she is. that he disapproves of her whole attitude. So I think, he leans the shaft of his spear against his shoulder and kind of points at the spaces the two chairs were taken from, and says to her, your removal of those chairs and then your willingness to replace them for us who have just arrived in these shores speaks volumes about how serious you take your rule here. You think a trinket can make you a queen?
Yeah, I think I would have her respond, but I think your words have weight. They have magnitude. They could move her. And I think, Anklos, I think you've identified the situation here is that there can't really be like a peaceful negotiation as long as somebody controls this boar. Like this trinket, as you described, gives her this sort of the nuke codes, right? Like she has the ability to, there's nobody on this island that can defeat the boar. Maybe yourselves accepted, right? It is possible that 4 great heroes such as you could defeat this boar, but without you, as long as she has that mask, she is unassailable by anybody on sound. So there's no way to like figure out whether it's right or fair or whatnot, as long as she's holding on to this trinket as you described it. This is a great time where we can like smash cut to the rest of the band, either kind of sort of coming back, and we can have a sort of a face off right now. I'm also being cognizant of time, where we can sort of have a face off with Capra right now, or go after the boar, or sort of approach another way. But I think you've called her out on saying like, you're not fit to be a ruler. And there's something about her that like knows you're right. She just doesn't like it the way it used to be, where people were going and getting killed all the time either. Like, she's not going to say, oh, you're right here, you can have the throne, or like, oh, I'll abandon it. But she is maybe looking for another solution that she can't find. And maybe that solution is one where the boar is gone. Maybe that's where no one controls it. But I think you're going to have to get to that solution by deeds rather than words. What do you all feel? Christoph and Aaron, do you want to sort of be arriving in the halls at this moment after having been unable to arouse?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I would love to get, what's her face? Numeria? No.
Nasia?
Nasia.
Yeah.
Like, I want her to kill the boar with our help. That's like what I want to do.
That would be her dream, right? That's like what she was raised to do. That's like her prophecy was to be the one to slay the boar, right? Cool. So leader, I'll leave it to you. Is this contest with Capra to try and get her to take off the mask, to take it from her by force, to get her to surrender her power, or is it to defeat this boar that has tormented the world? The boar itself is like, I won't qualify it any further. What do you want to say? And someone can spend a bond to change your mind, so it's not.
Yeah, and it's got to be it's got to be just one for the climactic thing. It can't be like two fronts at once.
We'll have one. I mean, we can try and like figure out a solution where it involves it, but we'll have one final battle to resolve this. And they really do speak to different things. Telling the Capra to step down is very different than defeating the boar, right? Like it changes the dynamic quite a bit as to what's going to happen.
Yeah. So it really seems like the mask is the key. So I think my instinct is to just try and take the mask from her by force. Right. I'm open to someone spending a bond to change our strategy, but that's like Demetria's first instinct here is like, well, even if she's very cool, we're 2 heroes. We could probably take this mask from her, and then the boar's not a problem.
Sure. Yeah. I think Alfido, can arrive in the hall with Nasia at her side. And if you want to spend a bond to say no, it's the.
Yeah. I think I would want to. Can we split it so it's like one battle to kill the boar, and I can use my bond with Demetria to make their action basically be a distraction of this usurper queen, so the boar gets confused because he's wearing the hood, so they can fight her while we're fighting the boar.
Sure.
Boar and make the boar the actual thing. So that's why I'm spending the bond, but allow them to be at this other location.
Yeah. I love it.
So it is two fights, but one's a distraction from the other.
Yep. It's super good. I love it. Let's dive into this battle.
The end of every Star Wars, where there's the one fight going on, and then there's the lightsaber duel also going on.
Exactly. Right. So she has this tall. You feel another rumble in the ground again, and there's a glint in the mask, and the camera cuts to the boar just like raging, and the temple flies off of it, right? And it looks around, and it's like gonna make a beeline for the fortress, for Anastani, right? Like your invaders in there, you're trying to take the mask, and like just as like charging, if it sounds right to you, Aaron and Christoph, I think Nasia and Soteria and I think all of you are and Alfido are all standing in its path too, before it can make it back too.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome.
Can I pitch this stand up? The statue got knocked over by a rock, and Nasia tried to climb up over the rock and ended up standing where the statue was as the boar turned.
Very cool. I love it.
Cool.
Awesome. She's standing over her mother's fallen statue. Okay. Fantastic. And the thing that cannot be conveyed, but somehow is like the thing that doesn't necessarily make any sense, is that while this battle is kind of raging on, Capra's love for Nasia, like her own daughter, is like palpable, that she cares. Like if Nasia is in danger, like it worries her, because she does not have beef with Nasia. She has beef with her mother. And Nasia's respect for Capra as a great huntress is also causing her pause, that she wants Capra to be the one to slay the boar, because Capra was the best. She was the master of the hunt before she took over. And so they all have these very conflicted feelings about each other. I'll just say
cuts back and forth between like their expressions, and like the audience gets
exactly right. Yeah. And I think she's telling you, Capra trained me as a young girl to slay this boar one day, and I wish, had she not turned on my mother, I want her to be here to see this. She's saying that. And anyway,
I think Alfido understanding how like magical crafting works goes, she can see you, and points to the boar's glowing eyes.
Yes,
she shall see you slay the boar with her own eyes from its point of view, kind of point.
I love it. Okay, so battle always happens.
We are boar.
No, and that is 100% true. As her eyes glow golden, she in fact does see her would-be daughter, her surrogate daughter, facing this boar alongside these companions. So
perhaps at the beginning of the battle, she thinks it's the queen because she's standing holding her weapon.
Yeah. That's why the boar charges. So tell me this: battles always take place over 3 contests. The first one is the clash, where we figure out the position, like who's got advantage for the other one. The other one is a threat, where your foes do really bad things, and you have to tell me which ones you want to try and stop. And the last is the finale. So we're going to have 3 contests. I'm feeling like the contest goes I'm feeling like the contest goes catch Capra off guard, distracting the boar, face the boar, and stop all the horrible things it's going to do, finally defeat Capra. I feel like that goes Capra, boar, Capra as the contest, back and forth. Does that sound right to all of you? Christoph is saying, I want the finale. I spent that bond.
Well, I think the last one could be killing the boar, because that's Nasia killing the boar.
Yes. All right. We can. How about we do it as? All right. Then let's reverse it, if that's okay to everybody. We're gonna start with the battle of the boar, and then we're gonna see all the horrible things that Capra does if you can stop her from them. I've never done this before. But
or you could start with Nausea, because I thought that was awesome, or start with the queen for the distraction, then go to the boar, and then they could join us against the boar.
Even better. Perfect.
Everything comes together.
Everything comes together.
Hey.
Let's do that. Cool. Thank you,
because we got to have lots of shifting. The wall falls down and jumps into the battle. That sort of things can go. All right. We can move locations.
All right. So we're starting with Capra. Yeah, and Donna, sorry to get to this so late. Like I heard what you said, and I was like, I think you've triggered the battle. So this is recapping the thing you said about her not being fit to be the queen. And she says, it's an imperfect world with imperfect solutions. I have done what I can to protect my people. You can, yeah, she gives you the, her justification. And she says, if you cannot see the wisdom of my words, be gone from my temple, be gone from my fortress, rather, my island. And I think in this particular part of the confrontation, you can approach her any way you like. Normally in contests, I say, this is a battle of, or this is a contest of, and I say it's a contest of arts narration or whatnot. But in the engagement, in the clash phase, you can pick yours. So you can be talking to her, you can be trying to convince her with your words, you can be running and grabbing the mask, you can be doing whatever it is you like. So
is this a normal challenge, or do I?
Mm-hmm. It's a normal challenge. So
okay.
I'll roll the target first, and then you can all decide who wants to be involved.
Cool.
I have Capra the Usurper. She has a D8 name die. She is determined, which makes her perilous. Her guards are there to unable to read data from the server. Fantastic. So if I roll and it doesn't go through, I'll tell you what my total was. Just because I got a little roll 20 error. So
okay.
Hopefully that was a minor hiccup. Is
perilous the one where we have to mark pathos to engage? Is that
no? That's epic.
Okay,
that's the boar. She is dangerous, but she does not hurt you just by confronting her. And the golden boar gives her aid. You see when her eyes glow golden, not only is she implacable, but it's like she possesses some of the strength of the boar. So we're just going to give her a little D10 advantage die from the boar. And I'm getting another roll 20 error, so let's see what happens. I could refresh the page, but I don't know. Let's try that. I'll refresh the page.
If you end up having to just roll physical dice on your table and tell us what they say, we'll believe you.
Yeah, we might be there. It will not be the best moment of for me, me running away while I do it, but we might need to. Let's see. This seems like it's working. Perilous. Okay. And roll strife, and this is any domain. I got an 11.
Nice.
Yeah, she when she senses that you're her enemies, that guard who sort of met you at the gate, I think he escorted you in, and he puts on his helmet and he grabs his spear, and he comes to surround you, and she herself it's a spear heavy place. She picks up a spear, and you see it also has the symbol of Artemis on it, and she sort of hefts it, and she's ready to, she looks like she could impale a person with the spear. The people surround you. You're outnumbered 10-1, and the mask glows with golden power. Who among you will face Capra, the usurper queen?
Yeah, I, Acleos, swift-footed, beloved of Artemis, will stand against you.
Very well. And
I, Demetria Keen-Speared, will support my ally Acleos.
Oh, so Acleos, I think that this looks like all of the hunters, all the guards fighting Demetria, while you face off against the implacable Capra.
Yeah, I give you the space, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because all of them are just like, what? They don't have names, right? Like,
Yeah.
like they're a challenge, but they don't. We're not concerned whether or not you'll best them. It's Capra that we need to know.
Well, they're literally wearing stormtrooper masks. So
also, I'm literally fighting them single-handed since I've got one arm in a sling.
Oh, I love it!
Swinging my spear all over the place.
Yeah, this spear is meant for two hands, right? Like usually you use it two-handed, right? And
yeah, but like
it's an effort, yeah.
Yeah, I'm hefting it with one hand and knocking their spears aside.
What is your blood and valor?
It's a d6.
Cool. So go ahead, Aklios, and roll when you get to the advantage section. You can add a d6 for Demetria's support.
Okay, and I think given that she is kind of setting herself up as a huntress and such, and having name checked Artemis, I am definitely spending that as my chief honored god as well.
Nice.
So that's d6 for Demetria, right?
Yep.
And 1 divine favor.
All right, you prevail, my friend. Alexei, you gain 1 glory and 1 bond, or Demetria does. Aklios gains 11 glory. And tell me how you take the mask from her, how you defeat her in combat, how you have your spear at her throat. What does it look like?
So I think when she stands up and her guards, muster, and she picks up the spear and she's ready for a fight. Everyone sees Aklios almost turn his back to her, but the spear, which I described earlier, just resting on his shoulder, it just starts to roll off, and then as it falls to the ground, he catches it and flings it straight at her. And I think her reflexive defense is to dodge a little bit, but the spearhead goes straight through the chains that are hanging off the mask.
Oh, great!
Slam into the throne behind her.
Nice.
Pinning her, or maybe pulling the mask off.
I feel like pulling the mask off feels right. Like that was a goal that you had, right? Yeah, and I think she is staggered by the blow. She loses all of her momentum in her charge, because I think she was a few steps up above you, right, on the throne. I think she was running down, and she stumbles and loses all that momentum that she had from kind of being whipped away. And you see in her a likeness to Isadora. And that they all look like they could be related. And she still has her spear, but with the connection to the Golden Boar lost, everyone in the halls kind of pauses for a moment, as they're unsure, as though not only have you possibly defeated her, but you've also maybe stripped her of her claim to the throne. Maybe if that boar is now free, she no longer, they respected her because she captured it, but it's free now. So everyone like Demetria, you had like 4 swords all that you were banging off, right? And they kind of like pause, and they're not quite standing down, but they're stopped attacking, right? And you're fending them all off. Meanwhile, I think the camera goes to the mask, and it goes right through the mask, and it goes through the mask's eyes, and it comes out at the eyes of the boar, and it sees Nasia standing on Isadora's fallen statue, and and rage fills it. It charges toward her. Aklios, you have a D10 advantage die for winning the clash. You can give that to at any time you want in the rest of the battle. So either in the threats that are about to come up, which I'm about to come up right now, or in the finale. And you can give that to anyone you want. You give it to if you use it yourself, it's just D10. If you give it to somebody else, they get they give you a bond for you giving it to them. So anytime you want, just be like, cool, this is how what I did aids you in that engagement, in that clash. And now I'm going to tell you all the horrible things that happen, and you have to tell me, nah, I'm not going to let that happen. The first horrible thing that happens is the boar gores Isadora, who it was fated to kill. and she dies horribly from this boar. It slays her on the podium or not Isidora, sorry, Nasia.
Okay.
Yeah.
The who second she thinks is Isidora at the time.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The second is that the boar rampages back to get to Capra, and crashing through the halls of Anosteni, hundreds of people are crushed under stone and are stampeded by it. Many people die. And then since we're doing this as a blended battle, I think that's it. Normally, that's just the threats of the board. Capra has her own threats, but I don't think that they make a lot of sense right now. So you have a choice.
Unless the boar does some of them based on what the order.
Well, one of them is that Isidora's lies surface, and I don't think anyone's really found out what Isidora's lie was. I mean, we kind of know, but there's this tie between Isidora and the boar, and that it was supposed to take Nasia and all sorts of things that kind of didn't come out because so I don't think those horrible truths about her would happen. And the other one is that Isidora is slain, and I don't feel like anyone's going after Isidora because the boar thinks Nasia is Isidora. I think we're good with the boar's threat. They're still pretty good. Lots and lots of people dying horribly. One of them being Nasia, the other being all the other folks. So the two of you that are in battle, or that are in this stage, you can choose to do one of two things. You can either, I will pull up the battle map. Sorry, I forgot to do that. I forgot we have a map. Yeah, we've got a
battle map.
Let me get it. Fenios. That's Cryos, but that's just because I couldn't get closer. Cool. All right, so we've already done the clash. Go ahead and grab any of these tokens if you want, if you'd like to use them, or just tell me. You can either defend against one of those threats, and you tell me which one you want to defend against, or you can try to seize control of the battle, which will allow you to determine the final domain of the finale, and will allow you to, if you do not win both the seize and the finale, then you don't have final say over the fate of the island. So in order to have final say over the fate of the island, you must both seize control of the battle and win the finale. There's only two of you, and there are two threats plus the seize challenge. So that puts you in a predicament. If either swift-footed Aklios or keen-speared Demetria want to rush in at this point, perhaps one of you could be defending against all the people dying in Anosteni, since that's where you are. That would make sense.
What if one of us tried to grab the mask and tried to use the mask to defend, to pull the boar back from something that it's doing?
I super dig it. That sounds cool to me. That sounds like you're trying to seize control. Seize
okay.
That mask. All right.
So we can't actually grab these icons. So
you can't. Okay. Well, then I failed at making. I will. Demetria, I'm going to put you in C's. Which will...
yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. I kind of wouldn't mind going, I think I'm defending Nasia, I think.
Yeah, that feels right to me. I mean, you brought her into this whole thing.
That was also my impetus.
You can both do it, because if one of you fails, she dies, and that just means like hundreds of people in Anosteni die who didn't deserve it, but sometimes that happens. But if Aklios wants to try and defend the people of Anosteni, you're absolutely welcome to dive into that as well.
I don't know, Alexei, that was your cool idea about getting the mask right. So I'll give you first dibs on doing that. Otherwise, fictionally, I guess Aklios is kind of in a position to follow up on his spear chuck and try to grab the mask. What do you think?
You broke up a tiny bit there.
Oh, sorry. Do you want to go for grabbing the mask, or will I?
I'd love to go for grabbing the mask. Do you want to try and rally the people to not die horribly, but hold their ground somehow?
Yeah, maybe the bodyguard are kind of a little bit shaken, and Aclios can command them to follow him to defend the city, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think if nothing else, you definitely have the people who you've just sort of shown your valor to. You have a D10 advantage, which you can certainly give to look how I have unmasked your ruler. Follow me is certainly an option for you. So it looks like everybody's getting involved in this, which is great because it's a difficult challenge. We're going to roll the boar's threat, which is going to be the target across the board. And some of you are going to be in different kinds of contests than others. Defeating the boar is defeating the boar, saving the people. Those are all going to be contests of blood and valor. But taking control of the mask and seizing it, that's going to be a resolve and spirit to master the magics within it. So just so you know,
I suggest a type of action for my character.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to do craft and reason, because I've used Hephaestus' wisdom to modify her boar spear to defend herself.
Nice. This is a perfect case for saying, because the stakes of this is literally blood and valor. This is a perfect case for you to say, cool, I'm spending pathos to bring that in, and that's how you justify using it. So you get to do it. You basically get to do both, but there's definitely the boar's intent is what sets that state. But yeah, 100% do that. You've got the pathos for it. So let's roll that strife. Also, it's slightly different for you grabbing the mask. There's a little fiddly here, but Alexi, in order to put on that mask, this is a mythic artifact. You need to spend a divine favor just to try it. Doesn't give you any bonus. You just have to mark a divine favor, or spend a bond to cover that, because it's like harm, where you basically lose some of your divine favor. So,
Aklios, could I spend a bond to a bond with you for this mask, since you're the one who speared the mask to the wall? Maybe there was a little divine favor just kind of clinging to your spear that gives me the in I need to try and seize it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think for sure. Maybe there's a little inscription on the spearhead, a little prayer to Artemis that
perfect,
gives you some kind of
I love it,
divine urge or little hint to exactly how to wield the mask.
Okay, I'm rolling a whole pile of dice here, and I'm going to mark this as epic, perilous, and Demetria, note that it is mythic for you, but it's not epic, perilous. All right, let's see what I get. Calling a blood and valor, because that's most important. Right? Okay. Oh wow, I was
12.
I was really expecting a 15 right there. Okay. And I don't know. Remember, you have. Oh, we've gone over. Is folks okay? I'm sorry, I just looked at the time. Are folks okay to go for another few minutes?
Yeah,
we gotta finish this.
Yeah, we gotta finish.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, thank you. All right. Yes, I think I know. You've all said, but still, say your names and then roll those dice. Who will defend the people from this rampaging beast?
Graceful Soteria will, of course, defend the people.
Nice. Who else?
Our-bellied of Phaedo the baker, granddaughter of Demeter, shall hold the fort and save Nemesia and defend against the beast.
And the rest of you?
Swift-footed Aklios will display the ferocity of Ares and show that he is a true heir to Heracles himself by leading the troops to defend the city.
There is 100% a moment where a big column falls down and you have to hold it up so people can get out from underneath it.
Well, did you describe the pelt on the throne? Was it a wolf pelt or a lion pelt? Because, I will retcon it into a lion pelt to show that I am the son of Heracles.
Yeah, it's totally a lion pelt. That's definitely what it was. I had described it because I was waiting to tell you it was a lion pelt.
And I keen-speared Demetria with the daring of Hermes, daughter of Cleon, the general of Dippolon, will seize the mask and therefore the initiative.
All right. Aklios, who will you give your advantage die to, or do you want to hold on to it for the finale? And it can be you too, but just if you want to give it to someone, let them know.
Yeah, I think I want to see Soteria get that advantage die. Okay.
Soteria, throw in a D10, and I think the way it works to me, and don't tell me if this is wrong, is the boar is confused when the mask flies off. When it's still filled with rage, it's been murdering people for a really long time. That's nothing new, but it was seeing through the eyes of its master, and when that connection is suddenly severed, it has a moment of confusion that Soteria is able to
yeah, I think maybe if the last thing that it saw through its master's eyes was Aklios's face, nice. and when I come to the gates to confront it, that gives it momentary pause, and that gives Soteria the chance to swoop in.
All right, take a bond with Soteria, and everybody go ahead and roll. See if you everyone who's facing the boar or the threats of the boar, which includes essentially everyone except for Demetria, take 1 pathos. This is either the building falling on you or the boar thrashing you, or any or the horrors that you see. Any kind of torments, because there's an epic challenge, and yeah, Alex, you have Demetria. Either I think you were saying you were spending a bond instead of marking divine favor, because of Alikos.
Correct. I was spending a bond with Aklios, who helped me out to try to attempt to seize this mythic artifact.
Excellent. All right.
Do I gain any advantage
yes, you
support
do.
from
Yes, yeah. Nasia gives you a D10 to follow her destiny in destroying this defeating this boar that she spent her whole childhood growing up awaiting the hunt. She's spent her whole life for this day.
And I have a D10 from Aklios.
Yes, you do.
Can I remind me? Can I also spend bonds for bonus dice as well?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Right now we're almost at the finale. So yes, spend bonds can protect you from harm, but otherwise, go ahead. All right. We're prevailing. We're prevailing. It's looking good. Have all the rolls come through? Did I see them all, or is there?
That's all of them.
I think we made the rolls.
Everybody was a 14.
Except me, who was a 15.
Wow,
15. Demigod.
Demigod.
Oh, did you call in your bot? No, you didn't call in your bot meter, but you just, nice. Okay.
I used divine favor with
you did?
With Demeter.
Very cool. All right, well, I'm just going to go up from where I see it. So, Aaron, will you tell me how Soteria... you prevail. You do protect Nasia, but obviously that you protect her from one threat and perhaps not the final threat. So tell me the first time in which she would have perished in this battle that you save her from.
Well, the first is that the boar's tusks are sweeping towards her to impale, and in an impossibly mighty deflection, my shield comes up and blocks him at the last moment and just knocks the boar aside. In fact, it knocks the boar clean over, right?
Nice.
The boar had so much momentum and my shield has so much resolve at this point that the boar just kind of bounces off of it. And
is the shield dented and destroyed, or is this some mythic artifact that fended off this boar's charge?
I would say it's at least dented. It is showing significant signs of damage. Yes.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. I feel like it's one of those things where it smashed into you and it pushed you back, but you held your ground.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
And, and it topples over instead of striking. I'm just gonna keep going up. So Aklios, tell me how you protect the people as the boar, I think makes an attempt at Isadora, rampages, blasts right through the wall of the fortress. It stomps or shaking the earth. It's trying to make its way to Capra to return to its master to find out, or to the mask. You're not really sure. How do you protect the people from its rampage?
Yeah, so I think I charged down to the gate through which it has just burst, and we are, all of the soldiers and I are shouting for the people to get into their homes or into some kind of safe space.
Nice.
And in fact, Aklios still doesn't have a spear. He's just like standing in front of the boar with his shield, the shield that's already been warped out of shape by the nice. Chain earlier, and he is just banging it against his breastplate and shouting at the boar, just come and get me, if you dare, and just standing off, intimidating, not striking at it.
Yeah, since you're suffering pathos, right? As is an epic contest, does it charge at you and like send you flying instead of knocking down a pillar? It's like is there some big pillar that it would have collapsed, but instead it smashes into you, and you kind of take the brunt?
Or there's just houses to one side or the other on this narrow street that it would, there's noise coming out of it, and this kind of display is just challenges it to exert its dominance, and it just barrels into him, probably breaking the shield in twain and probably cracking a few ribs as well from the impact.
Nice.
And I think we just see Aklios get up, wincing behind his helmet as he stands to challenge the boar to come again.
I think as it's stomping its foot and it's ready to charge. Alexei, tell me how you seize the
mask.
The control of the mask.
Yeah, well, I think I grab it and I put it on, and then you see like through the metal of the mask, my flashing and defiant eyes, and then they're like clouded over. And I think I was ready to contend with the spirit of the beast, because that's what I thought would be within the mask. But I find instead I'm facing just the accumulated pain and rage of all of the people the boar has killed over the years, and so I'm marking a pathos to bring in blood and valor here, as I just like to stand my ground and hold my own, like contending with my spirit against all of this pain and misery in the past. I plant my spear deep in the ground and grip it so hard that it shatters.
Oh my goodness, your grandfather's spear, the Ashwood spear, shatters.
The spear shatters, but the mask bows to me.
Very cool. And as you are in this moment of pain, and the boar is clearly in pain, you're sharing this pain. I think it's in its final sort of death throes. Christoph tells me, does it charge back out and face Isadora on that same statue, or has she come in with you to defeat it, and it's in the halls of her mother that would have slain her? Where does this last confrontation with Isadora happen?
Yeah, with Nausea. Yeah.
With Nausea, sorry.
Yeah, I think Nausea, nearly in the form of Isadora, like truly queen-like, and I stand up as silhouettes in this gap in the wall.
Nice.
And it sees us, and it's fighting with the mask, and the mask is like, it's bashing its head around, and it just kind of barrels this direction and swinging its thing, and we block together with her spear.
Mm-hmm.
Holding the spear, and the spear bends, and then I look at it and realize it's going to break with my craftsmanship understanding, and yes. I just turn my back, taking it in, and basically take the place of the weapon with my body turning to Demeter's stone, as it cracks through me, and I hold it there as I like held by the future queen, perhaps.
Wow!
As
so
the weapon, holding
you've
the
got
bar
its
in front of me.
tusks locked, and it can't.
Yeah, with
break
my
them.
back.
With
She's
your
basically
back.
using me as a weapon to hold it back, or as shield.
And the tusks that would have slain you both are held back. Fantastic. It fumes and it steams, and it feels like it has one more, last attempt, which could be a mighty destruction, which could be horrific. But Demetria, because you control the mask and you seize, you get to control this last contest. You get to tell me what it is a contest of. So before, while Capro wore the mask, the boar could not be talked to. You could not be in a contest of arts and oration. Now that you have the mask, anything is open game. You can slay the boar in a battle of blood and valor. You could lead it away off into the woods back to its home in a challenge of craft and reason. You could calm and try to soothe its pain, or you could master it with a mask that it serves you with a battle of resolve and spirit. What contest would you like? Or those are just examples. That's not an exhaustive list. But what kind of contest would you like to have in this finale? It is not defeated.
I'd like to convince the boar that there's nothing more for it on this island, and it should strike off on its own, right? Leaving the island behind, just going off into the sea, and like us, going wandering in search of home, because all that's come of it here on this island has been pain and misery for it and for generations of people.
Nice. All right, that sounds to me like a challenge of arts and oration.
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you? All right. Well, I will roll for the boar, let's see how well he does in this challenge. I think the boar doesn't communicate in words; he communicates in pain, and you feel directly. I'm going to roll his name, as I always roll his name. I'm going to roll his rampaging because he's still trying to fight you off, but I'm not rolling his great tusk, so it is not epic. Oh no, did we lose we lost an Aaron. We got an Aaron back. Okay. And thankfully, Aaron, because you were in last spot, it didn't do anything. It all corrected itself. We're good. Yeah. So let's roll its rampaging and its name. And let's see, the boar is I think I'm gonna roll its mask trait as well, since you're trying to communicate to it directly through there. So let's see how the boar does, and then who will face it.
Shouldn't the mask be in my favor now, that since I have the other
you're right.
end
That
of
makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. What am I thinking? I was like, the mask applies because it's there, but it's not. It's in your hands. Yeah, I like that. Why can't I delete the thing?
Oh, was there a bonus that we got from winning the last battle, or the defense?
No. The threat, the bonus you got from the threat was you prevented a lot of people from dying. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's just the first one we gained the bonus on.
Yeah,
Got it.
Yeah. The clash is what that sort of sets you up with the advantage die, but you've stripped it of much of its power at this point because it no longer has its I can't seem to get rid of them. It no longer has its there we go. I can only add them in even numbers. It no longer has its mask. It no longer has its great tusks. It is still perilous. If you fail this, you could still get thrashed about, but it is not epic. And I will, and any of you can join in on this contest. And of course, I still rolled incredibly high. I got my 8. It's a servant of Artemis. Its task, it's a child of Artemis that is here to show her might and to test those who would stand against it. It doesn't know go away. It doesn't know find another home. It doesn't know a place that isn't pain or an existence that isn't pain. Who among you will try to convince it to to give up this endless cycle of violence and to move on and find some peace somewhere.
I, Demetria, daughter of Cleon, the general of Dipolone, will stand against the spore.
Sort of just popping around going on.
Yeah. I think we lost Aaron, which means we're sort of a little bounced, but we'll see if he can hop back in. Who else among you will?
So in this battle, as
Yes.
a question to interrupt the amazing flow we already got going, I'm just going to interrupt it.
Yeah, please.
What ends up happening will be up to whoever does the best, right? So what sort of task we do could change it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We do different domains, or are we going to be?
You could, if you wanted to spend a bond with your leader and say, no, we're not trying to send this thing away. We're trying to defeat it. But your leader has declared. I'm sorry, I should have probably checked with everybody. Like you as a group, can decide. But Aklios won the Seas contest, and he's sorry, not Aklios. Demetria won the Seas contest, and she also was the leader. So yes, if you want to tell the leader, no, let's slay this thing, then by all means go for it. But this right now, as it stands, the restoration contest. I can change that to Blood and Valor, Craft and Reason, etc. No problem. So yeah, do we want to flash back real quick, put this on pause, and have you and
I cannot do that. I do not have that bond any longer.
Oh no. Well,
so that is fine. So will it be arts and oration for me then?
Yes. Yeah.
But I'll bring some other things.
You could bring those.
Got
it.
Yeah. Got it. Cool. So I fire-bellied Aphido the Baker, granddaughter of Zeus, with the authority of his great throne atop Olympus, join the battle.
Nice. Yeah, you got to listen to Zeus, right? How about Aklios?
Yeah, I, Aklios, beloved of Artemis, will quiet this beast.
Nice. And I feel real bad because we lost an Aaron, and I haven't heard anything from him. I would love to.
In the Zoom chat, he said major connection issues, got to restart and try to get back on.
Got it. Thank you.
That was 4 minutes ago, though, so that's not a great sign.
Yeah.
Depending how long his computer takes to restart, but
yeah. Well, I think he would want to compete in this contest. So why don't we all, it takes us a few minutes to do all these things. So let's do it, and let's give Aaron the chance to dive in if he can make it back in. Yeah, it's so frustrating when Zoom just says, eh.
Yeah. Here's my question. I feel like having shattered my spear in my hand, I maybe don't get to use my epithet anymore on this challenge, unless someone is more ingenious than I am. I can think of a way keen speared still applies even when I've broken the spear.
I mean, Capra is there with the spear of Artemis in her hand, clearly defeated. I'm not saying.
But Aklios' spear is there, right? That you took the mask from.
Oh, so nice. Yeah,
yes.
just
take that.
Instead of my own spear shattered, I pick up 2 other spears.
Yes.
just to stabilize me as I'm kind of making a plea to the boar through the mask that we now share.
I love it.
I love
Aaron,
it too.
Sorry, your Zoom was giving you grief, but
stupid.
Demetria, who sees the mask and who is also the leader, has decided, unless someone wants to spend, and I want to still give you the opportunity, unless someone wants to spend a bond with her to change this, to make this a contest of arts and oration, to convince the boar to, which as we've described, which we've said only communicates in pain, but to convince the boar to leave this island and to find a home where it can know an existence besides pain, to give up this violence.
Okay, sounds good.
Is that is graceful? Soteria, will she join in the challenge?
Yes, graceful Soteria will join the challenge.
Excellent, sounds good.
So do I get any advantage for having Nastia with me?
What do you normally? I say you always sort of declare first, but then describe after. But I think in this case, I need to know a little bit more about what you have in mind. She really wants to kill this boar. She doesn't want to like tell the boar. She wants to fulfill her destiny. So I don't think initially I wouldn't think so. But what do you have in mind? What do you think?
Well, when
you would say
did this, I added resolve and spirit,
mm-hmm.
and I thought that would be us standing up to the boar.
Mm-hmm. Dig it.
And we're there with our with my massive spatula and her with her spear, facing off with it, and declaring ourselves. And challenging it to the hunt.
Telling it to go away. I think so. Just her advantage value isn't as strong. She's better at hunting than she is at consortium. So yeah. Let's look at her name die. Let's use that.
I think I'm kind of declaring that the hunt will continue. Like she's gonna chase it.
Oh.
I would think would be her point of view on this from what I'm saying. She doesn't know what our leader is saying in another room in its mind.
Oh, I think by this time you've all sort of reconvened. Like somehow you're, cinematically you're all within a line of sight of each other. But I do sound.
You can hear what I'm saying from the like echoing down from where the wall of the palace has collapsed or whatever.
Okay. Her name die is D6. I think that. Well, she has vengeful D8. No, take her vengeful. Take her
D8. Okay.
Excellent. And I think everybody is in. And there we go. Ooh, it's not looking good. Seeing lots of black. All right. Fido and Aklios suffering.
Sorry, what was
the last two rolls?
What was the target number? This one?
13.
13. Oh my goodness. Okay.
13. No.
You know what? I'm gonna add another domain here because why not? Spending the pathos for resolve and spirit to be part of this as well.
Resolve and spirit makes total sense here.
Spending all my bonds.
I mean, this is the finale.
Yeah.
And the bonds are just just narratively. I say how my companions are helping me. They don't like panic.
When someone supports you, they kind of narrate their own support action. But when you spend a bond, you get to say how you. All right.
You know what? I'm going to spend a bond for each of my companions because I feel bolstered by my
All right, that's going to give you 46.
Wait, four because there's 3 of them.
Oh, so 3d6. Sorry,
3d6. Yeah,
I know maths. I know arithmetic.
Don counts. Okay, he's supporting you.
And
yes, I'm supporting you too.
The ingenuity of Hephaestus has helped me, try to find a different solution than the just kill the boar solution that might be the obvious one.
Well, it is a magical mask. That's totally Hephaestus' jam.
Exactly. I think you know that this was made by Hephaestus. I think you know that this mask was made by Hephaestus. Okay, so we have a unique situation where 2 heroes have tied who are best, and 2 heroes suffer. So first, we'll go to the tiebreaker in a second, but first let's find out. How Firebelly Alfito suffers. Because this is a perilous test, you're going to take Pathos for suffering. I don't think that's going to drop you into agony. I don't know. You've taken a lot of Pathos. Very close. Tell me how you suffer. Does Isadora, does she get harmed? Does she perish? Does she not? Isadora, does Nasia? Does harm come to her, or
I think it's gonna look like this. I stand up in front of her and I'm like, fine, you shall leave. The chase shall begin other places. And she's just standing up there and shouting, giving commands at it with her heavy wooden mallet on her shoulder. And Nasia's like, no, I must defeat it, and stabs stabs Alfido to get her out of the way.
Oh, yeah. She says, I think
she's vengeful. I got a vengeful die.
Yeah. So can I add a tiny detail to that?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, she says, you're betraying me just as Capra betrayed my mother. This was my destiny to defeat this boar. No one will stand in my way. And yeah. Ooh, rough. Nasia. Didn't see it coming. But she is distrusting. D6. So.
And vengeful.
Yeah, and vengeful. And Aklios, you've been saving the day, knocking masks off. How do you suffer? What?
Yeah, I think he is taking the lead from Demetria, and I stand before the boar, and I put my kind of bloody and bruised hand up to show it that if it continues, it will suffer my wrath. And then I think behind us on the steps into the main palace, we see Capra, and like she glares at Aklios's back. And even though that link is no longer there, somehow the boar picks it up and he just swipes at Aklios with the tusk, and he goes straight through a building.
Yeah, nice.
Ragdoll.
I think just to put a little closer on this, I think when you crash through, we see Isadora, who I keep saying Isadora when I mean Nasia, but this time I really mean Isadora. Isadora inexplicably arrives in Anos, in Anosteni, and she sees her daughter like stab Alfido and go chasing after the boar because she wants to slay the boar, and she's just, to her, this is her worst dreams come true. In fact, it's a prophecy come true. She envisions the boar is going to slay her daughter, and she knew that fighting it would lead to this. And right now, her daughter alone faces off against this boar because Alfido has just been stabbed and she's run past her. So let us find.
Can I add one little thing?
Yeah.
I think the wall that Aklios goes through is into the Temple of Artemis.
Oh, perfect. So good. I think maybe that's where Isadora came from. She was praying there. She was praying for her daughter. And then it is both Demetria and Soteria will prevail, but one of them will be best. And the way we will find out who's best is you will just roll your name dice, and that will be the tiebreaker.
So just type /
roll 1d6.
Just 1d6 versus 1d6.
That's
goodness.
It. It's in this case it's 1d6 1d6. In if your name changes, that changes. But yes, it's just your name die. Okay.
Wait, how do I thought I did it. I said /1d6.
Roll space 1d6 or R
/roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, you're doing it one-handed. You like Demetria are
like
facing this challenge.
What?
All right.
I knew that would happen. I was going to say
Still unknown.
We tied again.
Two of you, both so close. Roll again. There's no ties on who is best. It never ties. If we have to roll this until
oh, come on.
Okay.
2. Come on, roll a 2.
No, not this time.
Backwards 2, known as a 5.
Yes. So first, the two who suffered, you've already marked Pathos. Make sure to take your glory as well. Aaron, sorry that it was so close. Soteria, tell me how you prevail. You are not best, but you prevail over this.
I came back just in time to make the roll, but I missed the setup. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
What are we doing?
Yeah, you're like, what's happening? This is a contest of arts and oration to convince the boar to
swim
to leave the island and
Okay.
to give up its duty, its sacred task of basically being this unassailable monster, and to go and find some, to give up on this cycle of violence.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will prevail against it by regaling it with just retreading all of our valorous deeds, right? Like we have trounced this thing over and over and over again, and we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Unless you leave, right? And that's a succinct way of putting it, but I just go on and on and on.
Well, and since it communicates through pain, right? Like what it knows is pain, and you have doled out plenty of it.
That's right.
And it sounds to me like it's like a do this or you're going to get more of what, there's more of that where it came from. Here's your opportunity to stand up. Wonderful. And I think it had that moment where it was going to charge at Nasia, and they were going to lock in battle, and it pauses, and you hear the clink of its chains, like they're so heavy, like it's never noticed the weight of it, but like you hear like the clink of its chains like hit the ground as it sort of like drops down a little bit on its haunches, and it sees you and knows that it can't. It could slay Nasia, but that would not end its pain or end its suffering. However, it's still tentative. Demetria, bring it home. Tell us how you send this boar away. You're wearing the mask.
I am wearing the mask, yes. And through the mask, I connect with the boar, and I say, my grandfather, whose shattered spear lies at my feet, taught me how to die for what was worth dying for. But my father, whose glorious city lies still beyond the mist, but whom I will rejoin someday, taught me how to find what was worth living for. Go, creature, find what is worth you living for.
And I think there's an audible like clunk, like a disengaging sound, as like the mask that was like resting on it, like the final chain that was holding it on, like breaks just from the wear and tear, and it falls, and the mask falls off of it, and you just see this boar's face is just covered in wounds, like it's just covered in so many lacerations and arrows and cuts and all these things, and it just like has these like mournful eyes, like they're golden, but behind the mask they looked venomous, and now unmasked they just look sad. And as the sun kind of glints on them, it looks at Nasia, and she still wants to slay it, and it finally just turns on her, and like basically opens itself to her, and walks off from the island. I don't know if boars can swim, but I think mythic boars can swim. So
it's a big boar.
It's a big boar.
Steals our boat, sails away. We're like, hey.
It's like these are cool oars. Yeah, just rowing with its tusks. I'm sure that would work. Congratulations, friends. You have rid the strife of Fenios. Now they just have to deal with their political structure, how that's gonna work. Christoph, I feel like you were the most invested in Nasia and Isadora. I think you were the one who had the most conversations with them. How do you think having removed that threat that sort of gave Copper her power, how do you think the leadership of Fenios looks? What say do you have in the leadership of Fenios?
I think Nasia leaves and chases the boar.
Yeah. I think you're right.
And I think nothing but sorrow is left for the true queen. And I think Copra ends up the queen of the island, no longer coiffed, and there's no, of all the temples that remain when they build this, there's no temple of Artemis, and no one ever says they're a hunter. It's a island of farming and metalwork and all the great things in the future, but never hunting.
Wow.
People here are afraid to go into the wilderness and only go there to cut it down and turn it into farmland and civilization.
How does that sound, everybody? I think that's
sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder. I think the horrible truth came out that, you know, everyone said we were all destined to, we're all supposed to kill the boar, and Isadora finally reveals that that was not the prophecy she heard. You know, everyone said, oh, the prophecy, Artemis's wish was that we slay the boar, and every year we go out to hunt, and the prophecy that she finally reveals, which Copra knew but held secret, I think she finally reveals, was that the prophecy was that the boar was going to slay Nausea. And because of that, she sent everyone to go kill it. And, you know, Copra knew that she was having all these people die just to protect her daughter. And Isadora realized she's unfit to be queen. She's unfit to if she would send all of her people to do that. And she knew it before, but it's really run home now, especially now that Nausea is gone and she can't even protect her either. It's all for naught for Isadora.
It's a sad island, man.
It's a sad island, yeah. But I think Copra can't really rule like with the force that she did, and she has to actually be a good ruler instead. She doesn't have the boar to just enforce it. So
no more nuclear option.
Yeah, there's no more nuke, right? I love it. Congratulations to all of you protecting Fenios from both the boar and these very fragile people, these very sad people. So as the island is over. We will see you sailing away. But first, we'll do. We have a quick wrap up, which is that I will tell you which. I will look to your leader and say, leader, looking at the signs of the gods. I believe. Do you think that Poseidon, Hera, or Athena favor you? My interpretation of reading them is Athena is really happy that civilization has been restored, but Hera wanted that boar dead, and Poseidon wanted Copra's reign destroyed. So I think it's
Athena.
Yeah, I think you gain Athena's favor, and I think in particular because you did it without killing it, I will fill in 2 of Athena's stars rather than just 1. Because if you do it and you appease her, it's fine, but if you do it in their idiom, it's the second one. However, Hera is real mad that the boar isn't dead. So I'm marking 1 wrath with Hera.
Is that for everyone, the thing, or for the leader?
You can't make Hera happy.
It's for the band. It's for it applies to everybody. So if you look at the let's see, if I show you the Strife player sheet, should pop up on your screen.
I meant, do we all gain the divine favor of Athena? Or just the leader?
It's not divine favor. It's her stars appear in the sky.
Oh, cool.
But yes, you all do gain her divine. Sorry. In addition, you all do gain her divine favor. But what I was tracking right now was the constellations. So
we can't actually see it unless you allow us to edit it. It's one of the weird Roll20 things.
What?
I know, annoying, right? So if you put something in everyone's
yeah. All right, I just gave it you added access and click show to players again.
There we go.
Yeah, so you can see that Athena's stars, 2 of her 3 are lit. So now when you go out on the sea, you can see her, and that will eventually lead you
so
home.
Cool.
But Hera, you can see under the waves, one of her marks of wrath is lit. So at some point I could bring in Hera's wrath.
Wow, nice.
And then let's all congratulate each other on being awesome. And the way we do that is starting again, Aaron, I'm picking on you because you're the first one on the list. Starting with Soteria, everybody go around and tell her which virtue you thought she embodied the most: acumen, courage, grace, or passion. You define those as you wish, but Aaron, you'll mark one of those for each person who gives you the vote, and I get to vote in this too. So
acumen, is that skill?
Yeah, where is this on my sheet?
It's on the lower right-hand corner of your sheet. Yeah, it's skill, it's precision, it's.
Oh, there it is. Cool.
Yeah. So let's start. Let's see, what is the roundtable version of this? Let's start with Christoph.
I would say acumen.
Awesome.
All right.
Due to skills of arms
and spearing,
aiding others.
Yeah. And Alexi, what will you grant?
Soteria, grace under pressure from graceful Soteria.
Thank you.
No, that makes very much sense. I'm going to say I like Grace as well. I think Soteria composed herself and sort of prevented things from descending into chaos when they could have otherwise. How about you, Donna?
Yeah, I would have said Grace as well. Cool under pressure.
Wow, nice.
And a good foil to Alfito's kind of brazenness.
Yeah. Well, you live up to your epithet, that's for sure. All right, so 3 Grace and 1 Acumen. When our heroes retire, at the end, we take their accumulated virtues, and that is how we know their legendary names. We know your name, though long right now, gets even longer at the end of the game, and we add titles and whatnot based on your virtues. Awesome. All right, I think next up on my list is Christoph. So Alfito. So the person to give Alfito's is Alexi. Alexi, what virtue would you grant Alfito?
Courage. Alfito never one to back down from a challenge. Never one to mince words or tell it less than like it is.
Yeah, I think that's true, but I got to go with passion, because I saw you in the Queen's tent, telling her to pick herself back up and not give up. Don't know what.
I would go with passion as well, like the dog with a bone kind of passion. I'm not going to let this go.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have to back that up. Passion as well.
Nice.
Passionate baker.
To the point of being stabbed by Nasia in the end. That's how much she was holding on.
You couldn't have scripted that one better, I think.
All right, Demetria, let's pull yours up. And I go first. Wow, there's a lot that you did, Demetria. For me, the particular element of trying to master the boar, I could see this as a lot of things, but I'm going to call it courage. You really didn't know what was going to happen when you put on that mask. And although I probably could have narrated the pain a little bit more, I think it was an incredibly excruciating experience to try and master that.
It took a bunch of pathos.
It did. So yes, I'm saying courage. Aklios, what would you grant your companion?
For the same things, but maybe acumen. Like the careful threading of a needle to walk up to the fortress in the first place, and then to just ask for that or demand that that audience. Yeah. So like a technical skill, I guess. I would go with acumen.
Absolutely. And Aaron, what virtue would you grant?
Courage.
Nice. I think undoubtable. And Christoph, what do you say?
I think grace.
Oh yeah?
I think they just let the creature go, despite the fact this island's obviously for Artemis and all that sort of stuff. It's just like, and you can go and live and this sort of thing, rather than truly defeating it.
I like that. Very cool. All right, Aklios. We will start with Aaron. What virtue?
Grace.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
Just
cool. All right. Christoph, what do you?
I'd say acumen. Because the throwing spears through things and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Alexi, what would you grant?
Yeah, I think acumen as well. Aklios had my back at the crucial moments, and was the one to call out the usurper in the kind of most pointed way and kind of precipitate that final conflict. So I appreciate Aklios's swiftness there.
And I'm gonna backup acumen as well, but for me, it's very one specific thing. It was Spear and that mask right off Capra's face. that was pretty freaking cool, and I think fantastic. All right, friends. Oh, darn it! I apologize. There's one more thing we have to do, but it's a very cool thing, so I think we should stick with it because it is the touchstone piece. Everybody record in your upper right hand corner a great deed or trophy that you will take from this island. And Demetria, I will offer you up a trophy that you might take from this island if you want, which is the Mask of the Beast.
Oh,
when worn by a mortal, and beast, they can speak to each other over any distance. If you wear this mask and you put the other one on another creature, which will just fit because made by Hephaestus, it'll just fit perfectly. I think you claim the Mask of the Beast. It's a artifact of Hephaestus. If you want to say like, nah, that's no big deal, I just put that in the war chest and I want to be known for something else instead, that's fine. Like you can still have it, but it doesn't have to be the big thing. But to me,
I gotta go for that. I will claim the Mask of the Beast, and I think I will change my epithet as well. Since my spear shattered in my hand, I'm going to be gold masked Demetria as we sail away from this island.
Oh, that's so freaking cool.
Nice.
How about Althito? What great deed?
She has Nasia Spearhead of Artemis.
Nice.
Because the way spears really work is you often lose the head, especially when you stab people with an earlier spear, and so you'd replace that. Yeah. It is left under her rib, under her hard to damage skin, her Herculean flesh. It is pierced.
That's so good. That's so good. All right. Let's see, Akleos, which great deed, and if anyone's ever at a loss, please feel free to.
Lion's mane.
Yeah, I mean that's tempting. Can I do a kind of a twofer here? One is I think I'm leaving my spear with Capra, and maybe taking hers, but it's really because anytime she's wondering what she is going to be doing, she realizes that she still has my spear, and that reminds her that she has to be like a good ruler, right? But I think I got to take that lion's pelt, or else I'll be thrown out.
I think saying spear and pelt of Capra is great, right? Like that's the pelt represents your prowess, and the spear your wisdom. I don't know. I think those are great. Yeah, definitely make it too far.
Cool. Thanks.
All right.
Yeah, just described in the same deed trophy thing. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How about you, Aaron? What do you think? Here it is.
The only thing that comes to mind is crafting a new shield for myself.
Nice. Yeah.
It's very important. It must be even stronger and more epic than the last shield.
Right.
Maybe even staying on the island as it's to bolster its defenses as its sort of resident hero. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, if you want to write down champion of Fenios,
perfect.
You absolutely can be there, the one to protect it. I love it. So there's this island is even more bittersweet than I thought. When you realize that like the island it does need help, it does need people to stay there to help rebuild it. It's trashed, right? The board just wrecked everything, and they had a whole culture built around the hunt, and they're going to have to find a way to move on from that, right? That's been a long time that they've been hunting this beast, and very cool. Very cool.
Cool.
Thank you all. This was so much fun. I was clearly a little rusty because we went over. I wasn't as great at my time management, but I don't know. Everything you guys did was super, super cool. There's not anything I would have wanted to cut out, so I'm not too sad about that. I appreciate you all for staying over. Appreciate everybody in hanging out in Twitch. Oh, I just saw somebody ask, is this game based on ancient Greece? Yes, it's based on ancient Greece very, very loosely. It's based on ancient Greece by way of Fast and the Furious. So your characters, as you probably saw, are these larger than life people, and sometimes they call on traditional things from the gods, and sometimes they they bust through walls and Kool-Aid Man into the scene, and that is the vibe that we go for. Yeah, so let's all sign out. When you do, please feel free to mention your stuff. I think I've got some links here that I will be sharing as you say them. So I'm Sean Nittner. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me pretty much everywhere at Sean Nittner. I'm extremely happy that this game is finally real. Worked for 3 years on this game, and well, you just saw it. It was a lot of fun to play. I really, really had a great time with all of you, and I had a great time being able to play it with everybody on hanging out in chat. So thanks you all. How about you, Alexi?
Yeah, so I'm Alexi Sargent, he, him. You can follow my gaming endeavors online at Cloven Pine Games. So please do check out Cloven Pine Games on itch.io, where I've got a number of games available, some of them for free. And you can also follow Cloven Pine Games on Twitter to hear about the games I've got in development. I've got a game called Checkpoint Midnight about supernatural operatives in Cold War Vienna. I'm very excited about that. Yeah, we played that on actual play pretty recently. Yeah, so thanks so much, everyone. This has been a lot of fun today. Christoph, I think you're up next.
Hi, I'm Christoph Spinski. I designed a little game called Free Spacer. You can check it out on freespacer.com or follow me at Zofra on Twitter. And yeah, that's about it.
How about you, Aaron?
I'm Aaron, he, him, trailofdice.com for my gaming exploits. Look for In the Hollow, of the Spider Queen coming in October, which is a PBTA 1GM 1-player endeavor.
Aaron, is that like art that you made? Is that like your own work there?
No, it is a cover that I commissioned from a tattoo artist in Ireland.
Nice.
You can find links to his work on my website. Yeah, I had the concept for the game. He did the cover, and I said, okay, this is going to happen because this is a fantastic cover. Thanks for asking.
That cover is metal.
Cool. And Donna.
Thanks. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. And just after publishing 2 games, one I've lost in Codex Leviathan, and the second one was for the Folklore Jam called Devil's Dreams. So check those out. Also, if you're interested, I'm doing a bunch of single tweet reviews of just about every tabletop RPG I can find on the Racial Justice and Equality bundle. So that's taking some time, obviously, because I'm about halfway through. There's about 300-ish that I've identified there. So yeah, that's worth a look if you want to see some great games to follow and buy and play. So yeah, thanks.
Very cool.
You probably just added at least 4 more, right?
Awesome. I put links to everybody's pages in chat. If you want to check them out, please do. It was great playing with all of you, and thanks again to Majay for and all the Games Demand online organizers for making this happen. It was a lot of fun. The whole weekend is in front of you, so if you want to sign up for games, go into gamesdemand.online and you can get